All right, welcome back for our third and final segment with the wonderful, wonderful booksellers of Books Inc. for Bookstore Romance Day. I am Claire Rice.
And I am Neil
This is Neil,
Higgins.
and we are FMK Lit. You can, of course, find us on all the places you find podcasts. But we want to get down to talking about Bookstore Romance Day. Again, we want to celebrate independent bookstores and romance lovers. And here we are to recommend books to you. So I think let's go ahead and start with Catherine. What have you got for us?
Well, I couldn't choose, but I finally chose. So today I have The Duchess Deal by Tessa Dare. It is what my wife used to lure me back in. He needs to sire an heir. She needs to get paid for the wedding dress she made for his failed marriage. She shows up in a wedding dress. He's like, perfect, you'll do. Thus, the deal to become a duchess. It is fantastic. It's funny. It's witty. It's just a really good time.
Wow. Is it just that easy?
Yeah.
Okay.
She just shows up, and he's like, perfect, you'll do. Anybody.
Okay.
But it's really witty. The writing is witty, and she does have a great deal of power, despite what the plot makes it sound like. It's awesome.
Great.
And Summer, what have you got for us?
If you don't know Talia Hibbert, immediately get oneself to a bookstore and get everything she's ever written. This happens to be Get a Life, Chloe Brown. She has just released Take a Hint to Danny Brown, sister of Chloe. Contemporary, London. Chloe has chronic pain and has spent most of her life sort of isolated and in her apartment, and she finally decides to get a life, which has multiple levels, including essentially sort of have casual sex with someone. The essentially super handyman in her apartment has had failed relationships and is pretty damaged from those. Of course, they begin chatting, and she needs his help with a number of things, and he begins to help her in this list to get a life. It's amazing. It's super steamy. Consent has never been so hot. She makes me laugh. I love and adore her characters, and I cannot wait to dive into Danny Brown, the second one. That's what I'm doing.
Right. Amazon keeps telling me, like, hey, read this. I'm like, I kind of want to. It looks really good.
And actually, I did buy that book from a local independent bookstore because my husband and I thought we would read to each other at night, and so I picked that one to read out loud, and I have it like next to my bed. It's down here. I went to go look for it, and it's underneath another book, so I was like, oh, but that one's a sad book, so we're not going to pull that one up.
Oh, good. So good.
So exciting. And Ingrid, what have you got for us today?
So I have a book called Love Lettering. It is by Kate Claiborne, and basically it's set in New York City, and Meg is this very talented artist who creates these sort of bespoke wedding invitations and all kinds of different kinds of items for restaurants and signs and signage and so on. And to sort of she sometimes hides messages in her artwork, and she actually hid a message in the wedding invitation of Reed and his perfect woman, his fiance, and so it's really so Reed comes back when the wedding doesn't go off, and says, hey, I see this message, and what's that all about, basically. So she's feeling very guilty. They kind of start to get to know each other, and part of his thing is that he's uncomfortable living in New York City, so she takes him around and they explore the city together. And it's just it's this wonderful love letter to New York City, but it's also this wonderful their relationship of her showing him the city through her eyes and him falling in love with the city and with her. And also this development of her taking chances in her creative life and him taking chances to be more of who he wants to be. He's sort of a little bit autism spectrum someplace, highly, highly functional. But her accepting him for what he is and him sort of taking chances on doing something different that gives him more joy. And of course, the romance. So, and he's hot, hot, unapproachable. Oh my God.
Good.
And Alessandra, what do you have for us?
Well, I had to choose my absolute favorite romance author, Sarah McLean, and this one, besides the one that just came out in June, this one is the latest one. It's Brazen and the Beast, and I have loved everything that Sarah McLean has written since the first one I read, and this one is just as amazing as that one. This one is about Hattie, who is about to turn 30, and I know she's about to become a spinster, and she decides that that's not the life for her. She is not gonna let that decide her future, so she's gonna take her life into her own hands. She is gonna lose her virtue, and and then she's gonna take her father's business with his permission. It's okay, it's fine.
Okay.
But want to prove herself that she is worthy of having this amazing business, that she, even though she's a woman, she has the knowledge and the drive to do something great with her life besides just wearing gowns and becoming a wallflower.
Mm-hmm.
So good. And a beautiful man, of course, a few words, it's there.
Ooh.
Good.
He's good.
Excellent. Neil,
Yes.
do you have a recommendation?
I do. I have Maurice by Ian Forster. It's a classic of gay literature. It's about a young man, Maurice, who goes off to Cambridge and, pines away. So it's like Neil Kibble. I'm like, British people, academia, pining. I love it. And then I mean, I'd say spoilers. The book has been out plenty long enough. That it goes the way you think it would, and that it's going to be very tragic, and the man that he's in love with marries a woman, blah, blah, blah. But then he meets another man, and it ends happily, and it's beautiful and wonderful, and it's very much about unapologetically being yourself, and if the person that you're in love with doesn't love you back the way that you need them to, find someone else.
Mm.
So.
Hear, hear.
Yeah. And what about you, Claire? What have you brought to recommend?
Well, I've brought my very worn copy of The Price of Salt by Patricia Highsmith. This is one of my favorite books. I've read this book more than a few times. I would say, you'll find this in the adult fiction section, but Patricia Highsmith, local San Francisco author, brilliant. This came out as a movie known as Carol. I highly recommend the book. What people don't know is this was originally sold as a trashy dime store paperback. Like it had like a cover with two women and the love that dare not say the name and all of that. Like two women half dressed on the cover, but it does follow a lot of the tropes. There's a richer, older woman who falls in love with a shop girl, wants to whisk her away. There's lots of tragedy. They can't be together for all kinds of reasons, but there's lots and lots of yearning, but also a lot of recognition of love. Like neither character ever looks at the other and says, "I don't love you," or "I can't be with you." It's just that all of the circumstances of our lives. And it is one of the first lesbian books to come out on mass paperback that ended happily. It is a romance.
Mm-hmm.
They do get together at the end. It is one where you will wonder until the very last page. And I do give you that warning. If you were not in it until the very last page, but the very last page, they do get together. It counts as a happily ever after. And it is very sweet. And the heroine, the main character of the story, is delightful. And she's just figuring out her life. And she's a little bit shy, but in a way that she earns her strength throughout the book, in a way that's really lovely and really honest, that I've always enjoyed. And it's like an entree into other romance. Like, if you are looking for books that are tender and are also sumptuous and also very sexy, this is definitely a good one. And it'll give you a yearning for all kinds of books. And of course, you could then just go to Books Inc. and say, I have this book, I want more. Where can I get more?
More, please. You're a human being. You're better than an algorithm. Tell me more books to read.
But before we make you head off to said bookstore, I think we should play a couple of rounds of FMK.
Well, we have to.
We have to. It is the name of our podcast.
Good.
We brought all these wonderful people together. We must make them play our games. Neil,
Yes.
you want to go first?
Okay, yes. So normally on the podcast we play with characters from the books that we've read, but because we're talking about Bookstore Romance Day, of course we're talking about romance. So I have an FMK for places where you are reading romance. So everyone in the meeting here with us. FMK, reading a romance novel on the beach with the cocktail of your choice. Reading a romance novel cuddled up on the couch during a thunderstorm. Or reading a romance novel on a porch swing on a perfect spring day. Everyone, let's start with Alessandra.
Oh, okay. So, this is so hard.
Yeah, right?
Yes. All right. So I definitely would fornicate for. I have to say it. Reading a romance at the beach with the drink of my choice. I would marry, cuddle up in my couch, and a storm raging on outside. And I just have to kill the porch in the spring day. I have to.
Yeah, that's the game. That's the game. Yeah.
So like the
They have to
same
die.
person.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, Summer, you have the same answers?
I have the same exact answers.
Okay. And Ingrid?
Although sex on the beach, still sticking with it. Sticking with the cocktail.
I have to say that I love porch swings. And, I miss my drink, but I think
You can have a drink there too. It's fine. It's fine.
out there, fresh air. We're with that. So, fornicate. I'll marry storm, cozy, absolutely. I totally kill the beach. No sand. No.
Yeah.
So you're agreeing, Catherine?
I'm the same. I love the beach, but alcohol and the sun don't mix with me, so that's not a great idea. So I'm just going to kill that one, and the other two are the same as Ingrid.
Great. And Claire, what about you?
I think because I've been stuck inside for so long, and I can go nowhere, and as much as I love San Francisco, I am not in love with her beaches.
That's fair.
So I will choose to marry a place where the beach is lovely, and I can have my tropical cocktail and my wonderful sexy novel. And then I think porch swing goes next. I think I would definitely fornicate that because I do love a good porch swing. And it's just so cozy sounding. Again, also want to be outside. I have an apartment with no backyard. I want to be outside. Neil?
Yes, I agree with Catherine and Ingrid. I would fornicate the porch swing just because it's just like so lovely. I'm always going to marry a thunderstorm. Always. Always. I'm gonna kill the beach because it never ends well for me. So
Yeah.
I mean, in truth, it doesn't end well for me. I mean, I blend in with my wall, so obviously, Girl, you're in danger.
good.
But it is my turn,
It is your turn.
and I've got. If everyone's ready, it is meet cute. FMK meet cute.
Mm-hmm.
So across a crowded ballroom, or as you run away from your wedding, or over an intense game of croquet.
Oh.
Intense game of croquet, running away from your wedding, or across a crowded ballroom.
Okay.
Catherine, I think we'll start with you.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Wedding croquet. What was the first one again?
Across
Oh,
a crowded ballroom.
Okay. I would fornicate the ballroom because my aunt met her wife that way, and I've always thought that was the most romantic thing ever. On like a lesbian cruise, they literally locked eyes across the ballroom, and they just had their like 15th wedding. So I'm gonna go with that one. No, excuse me, 20th. I'm gonna go with that one. I'll fornicate that one.
So cute.
I will marry the running away from the wedding just because I think the irony is funny. And then I would kill the croquet because the last croquet game I played, I got really bad poison ivy from.
Oh no.
Ooh, okay. That escalated quickly.
And Summer?
Oh, I'm going to go for the obvious, and I'm going to fornicate the croquet, just the bats and balls. I'm going to marry the ballroom, though, because I just want to live my life in a gown. So that's, like, long-term for me. And I'm just going to kill the running from the wedding, because it just sounds too, like, sad and horrific.
So much drama.
Yeah, not into that.
And Alessandra?
Well, I think I would have to fornicate the running away from the wedding because that would be interesting. I really have to marry the look like locking eyes in a ballroom. I think like that's beautiful, and I think it would totally work. And I have to kill the croquet. I have never played it, so.
So you're not missing out on anything.
Exactly.
I'm a product of the original Heathers, so there's still something about my teenage life that is just so heated about that, right?
For sure. I get that.
And Ingrid?
Well, so I never have done well with the whole croquet, like a hard ball and a bat, and not and grass and Pims. Oh my God, the nightmare of that. So I'd have to kill that. The ballroom, absolutely marry the ballroom, absolutely. Music, beautiful gowns, fabulous. And, nothing's better than makeup sex, right? It doesn't have to be with the person you had the disagreement with. It could be with someone else. You're still making up, right? So I think I'd have to fornicate the running away from the wedding.
Excellent. Neil.
Okay. I would fornicate the croquet game because I imagine there's a lot of wordplay that goes along with it, and that just sets me all a quiver. I would marry the ballroom because, like Summer, I feel that I deserve to live my life in a gown. And then I would kill running away from the wedding because, like, for the rest of your life, you're gonna have to explain that to people, and I don't want to deal with that. What about you, Claire?
I think for me, I'm going to fornicate running away from the wedding because obviously a beautiful woman running away in a dress, that's my thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm going to marry the croquet, if only because, yes, like Neil said, the idea of, the word exchange over the click clack of the balls, and like I'm gonna like the competition. I've got to like carry the day, and instant sort of like love hate between you and your competitor. Oh, it sounds great, and also very classy, and kind of fun. And I'm gonna kill the ballroom, not because I don't love it, but I've never been one for the language of fans. I love the heroine who isn't quite sure what to do in a ballroom, who's like, she walks in, she's like, oh, it's hot in here. I don't actually like white soup, and I don't know why I want to drink watered down wine. So I think, but only for those.
Fair.
Fair.
But I think that kind of concludes what we're doing for the day. I want to thank everybody for coming out. And I also hope that all of your wonderful customers who come into your store are happy to see your wonderful faces, thankful that you're there. It takes
The top half.
the top half.
Exactly.
We know that you're working very hard, and we also know these are stressful times to be working, especially in the public and with the public, and to bring joy and solace to those people who need something good in their lives that books always bring. I think from my heart, I will say I'm very happy that Books Inc. is there, that Laurel Heights is there, and that you're there to provide those services. And
Made me cry.
And I hope during Bookstore Romance Day that people come in and they have their romance with some books.
We'll make a match.
Yeah. So Ingrid, could you please tell people where they can find your bookstore, where they can find information about your bookstore and everything else?
Fabulous. Well, of course, we are on all these, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, etc. And we are Books Inc. Laurel Village in San Francisco on California Street in the Laurel Village Shopping Center. We are also virtually at booksinc.net.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. And of course, Neil and I are from FMK Lit. It's a podcast you can find on all of the podcast places. We spoil all of the romances we read. So if you come to us for reviews, what we do suggest is that you look up the books we're reading, call Books Inc., ask them to provide that book for you, and then listen after you've read the book. Unless you love spoilers, and then absolutely you're going to...
Unless you're a Claire and you like spoilers.
I go to the back every time.
Oh, no.
Yeah, do you see what I'm dealing with?
How?
Anyway.
Look, I'm chaotic evil. I get it.
Okay.
But from all of us to all of you, please stay healthy, please stay safe, and please go romance a book today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And dance party.